All right, this week on Prof and Dev Play Games, we are talking about free-to-play games. All right, my friends, welcome to episode 439 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, at Prof Plays Games on Blue Sky. Over there is Anthony the Dev, at Summer Speak. I am going to see you soon, Anthony.
It's so true. Like 48 hours or something like that? Less than 48 hours, really.
Pretty much. My daughter is excited to go to Seattle, Space Needle, WNBA, all that stuff, but she's really just excited to see your daughter. So
that's great.
Yes,
and then she's going to be
good.
like, has your daughter played Kina? I'm like, nope. Does she even know what Kina is? Nope.
Did she get the postcard?
Yes.
Yeah.
My daughter is be like, so what's my daughter been playing? A lot of Stardew Valley right now.
Nice. What a chill game.
Yes, she is fully back into Stardew Valley. And then she was playing the My Hero Academia brawler fighting.
Oh,
because my daughter's really into My Hero Academia, which is unexpected, but she has watched all of it now.
Okay,
I will have her not really talk about it with your daughter because I feel like your daughter needs to be older before watching that show.
Probably. I don't know much about it, but I would assume so.
It's like it's an anime superhero kind of show. A lot of fighting and battling and things like that. I would wait a few more years before that. My daughter is not going to act any of that stuff out at all or care about that in that way. So you just need to get to that threshold. So
sure.
I kind of ought to let her know, just keep that one on the little. We won't be playing. I think it's My Hero Justice 2 is the game. We won't do the fighting game.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, she's been doing that. She's doing Zeldas. She always does Zeldas. Because she had gone back to Tears of the Kingdom. Which I think is a constant, I think, just in her repertoire of games. She's like, I just feel like playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, it's my daughter. We just finished Kina. She streamed the whole thing. No camera, no mic. It's just her gameplay. And then afterwards, she's like, "What can we play?" I was like, "Well, we have we have a ton of games. What do you want to play?" She's like, "I want to play Paper Mario." So we played Paper Mario for a couple of days. She really liked it. And then she's like, "I want to play Kina again." I'm like, "You just finished playing Kina like 4 days ago." She's like, "I know. I want to play again." Okay. So today she wanted to play Kina. She started New Game Plus on Kina on story mode. Which is like the basic difficulty, and it changes it up. There's a lot more enemies.
Okay.
But yeah, they just like their game. Like she just loves that game and wants to keep playing that game. That and Wind Waker are the two games that she likes to play a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I showed my daughter the Echoes of Wisdom trailer finally. That was
nice.
A couple weeks ago. She finally was like, okay, sit down, let's watch. Yeah, she's already he's like, I'm going to buy this with all my money, and I get it for 2 weeks before anyone else can play it.
Nice. Very nice.
I think I will probably go, I'm like, fine, if you want to have it for a bit, we can go in half and half, because I do want to play the game. So I feel like...
so you can have it for 1 week before I get to play it.
Or something, or I just also feel like, I want it to be... I have the console, so it feels weird that I would go and play it. And she would buy it, and then I would play it.
Right. Your daughter buying games for you.
Yeah. So it's fine, but she is very excited.
Didn't your son fund the Shadow of the Erd Ring DLC though?
Yeah. Yep. Although I didn't. I even told him, I went in, I got my lady and a shield, and then backed out and was like, nice. I'm not touching it. It's yours. Until he gets to it. So I don't.
That's cool.
I just want to mess with it, and I haven't even actually touched Elden Ring in 2 weeks now, week and a half.
Oh my god!
I think I just burnt myself out. Really, I got back and did it, and I was like, "Yep, I know this game." I kind of did some stuff again, but I'm like, I'm not feeling it the same way anymore. Just mentally, I think I just have a block now. So I'm just like, Mm-mm.
I am so fucking in. Oh my god! I was getting the great steel or the black steel great shield last night and getting the Ash of War to infuse it with holy. I was like, oh shit, I'm in this. I'm
Yeah, you
like
are.
min-maxing my fucking equipment for the final boss of the DLC that I'm nowhere near. But I've so leveled up in the DLC that I faced the Dancing Lion last night and just obliterated him. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. That's a great battle. If you just listen to the music from that one, if you get a chance to, boy,
Oh
that's
yeah.
great. But before we get to what we're playing, we're talking about free-to-play games. Recently, the first Descendants came out from Nexon, right?
Yeah, it just kind of dropped. Was it middle of last week?
I think so, yeah.
I hadn't even really heard of this game, but it's kind of blowing up on Steam, even with mixed reviews. It's one of the most played games on Steam now. It's the top selling game for just money being made. So we can talk about free to play and the fact that it's technically the Steam Deck is the only thing beating it in making revenue right now on Steam.
That specific game? Oh wow.
Yeah, the first Descendant makes more revenue than every other game on Steam right now, more than Counter-Strike 2.
And is that just mainly because it's new, so people are buying it over everything else, or is there more to it than that?
There's no buying. It's free to play.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's generating money based on people buying shit in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are buying a lot of shit.
Apparently, yeah. If it's more than any of these games that are actually worth money, or paying money for, I guess.
Yeah. Elden Ring is We'll ignore the Steam Deck being the top selling thing, because that's hardware.
Yeah.
First Descendant's the number one best-selling game. Elden Ring, which is on sale right now on Steam for $42, is number 2. And then Counter-Strike 2 is below it on revenue. And Baldur's Gate 3 is actually number 4.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest sale that it's had. It's like 20% off, I think.
Yeah, $48.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could play Baldur's Gate 3 again.
Ooh, how many? What would that be? Your third or fourth playthrough?
Third. I started a third. So it'd be the start of another third. I never beat it on the third. But there's I've considered it. Do I want to try an honor mode?
Oh,
Do I want to get that gold die? I had a friend here who did it. Took him 3 attempts. Usually it failed pretty quickly within the first act. Once he could get through the first act and like the beginning of the second act, pretty golden through the rest of the game. But
is it that none of your characters die, or
no, just your main character.
Player character?
You have to have a wipe. You have to have a party wipe, so you get very good at running away.
Yeah, exactly.
And re-resing people, and they make it so that like bosses have new attacks, so you can't use the same strategies there. Supply costs are increased quite a bit, so like full rests take a lot of supplies. Just a number of things. It's just a harder version of the game, but I feel like if you understand D&D mechanics, you'll probably be just fine. You can do stupid tricks. A lot of invisibility and running by things. A lot of avoidance, a lot of sending one character in to like start the fight and see how it goes a little bit.
Right.
But have ability to have everyone else sacrifice that character, run away, and then re-res them at camp, sort of stuff. Sure. There's strats. I'm curious. I might wait though, because I know BG3 is like one of the next big patch they have coming out is going to be official mod support.
Right.
Like they're going to put that all in, and official mod support for consoles.
That's interesting. Will it be a marketplace where you can find the mods?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah.
But I assume that's what they're going to have to do to get through the requirements of Sony and Microsoft. But either way, will be very nice, because my friend does play it on PS5 and he's very excited for that. Specifically, he wants the mod that just adds all the different races of D&D. He just wants
the ones that are not in there right now.
Yeah, he just doesn't choose. He wants to be a chaotic goblin. I'm like, that'd be awesome, actually.
Life goals, man.
Yeah. So yeah, but the free-to-play thing, first Descendant dropped, I think it was last week. It was middle of Steam sale. Like, it had started June, well, actually it says June 30th, Sunday of last week, so a week ago.
Okay.
It dropped. It is a Nexon third-person shooter co-op, solo or co-op, and the best way I've seen it described is like the love child of Warframe and Destiny.
That's what I just read in these YouTube comments. That it rips off equally from Warframe and Destiny.
Yep. It combines those two things into a big free-to-play shooter thing. I will say the key part being here is they do not have PvP. And I think
interesting. Okay.
the thing that makes Destiny such a hard game for them to balance and keep right is the PvP aspect of Destiny, because they can't. Every ability and gun has to be thought around. How are we going to do this in a legitimate PvP fashion? And if you just go solo co-op, you can make things somewhat broken and be okay with it.
Right.
And in this free to play kind of thing, you make some stuff broken because some people will have it and other players will be like, "Oh, I want that." And guess what? You just have to pay to get it.
Yeah, is it Battle Pass or is it like you can buy specific items?
It has Battle Pass. I don't think you can buy specific items, but I think it's trying to look at all the monetization. It's definitely Battle Pass, cosmetics, how you unlock what they call Descendants, which is Warframe's called Frames. The speed at which you can get new Descendants or new characters to play, which have new abilities. So it's kind of breadth of options. You can speed up that process by spending money. And just straight up buy them as well.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And are some stronger than others? Yeah, probably. Almost certainly. So that's how these games work. I've been playing Zenless Zone Zero, same thing. It launches with certain characters, but I played this with Star Rail, Honkai Star Rail, and Genshin. Same company, MiHoYo. And the stuff that's really strong now, give it a year, it's not going to be that strong. There's always like power creep going on because they want to make the new stuff enticing. Because if the new stuff isn't enticing, people aren't going to spend money in those games to roll on characters and try to get them.
Right. Why, if your new character doesn't offer more than your old character does? Yeah.
Which, when I speak to free-to-play, that is one of the things that kind of can feel a little bad overall.
Yeah. Well, your characters characters you spent time on and built eventually are, I don't know if obsolete's maybe too strong a word, but it seems like it.
No, it's not. That's about right. Planned obsolescence in the end by the companies. Again, because you just spoke to the thing, is if they don't make new things that are exciting that you desire, and by you I mean the entire player base desires, then the game doesn't monetize and it won't be around. That's how the free-to-play economy needs to work. There always has to be new things for a person to desire and want.
Yep. Well, that's how you keep your free-to-play relevant in a sea of free-to-play games.
Yeah.
At least, I'm just watching this video, the first sentence, and you had described it in our Discord as, maybe something enticing for lapsed Destiny players.
Yeah.
And it certainly does look like that. At least with this, from what I'm seeing from the full gameplay here, is what's the right word? It's the ramp to get into the actual gameplay is pretty quick versus Zenless Zone Zero was so. If you used the word disjointed, which I thought was perfect. There was so much stuff that was happening. There was cutscenes. There was like visual novel reading cutscenes where it wasn't voiced. There was this weird mini game where you're going through these television sets to get certain items. Like some sort of exploration mode, and then there's the straight combat, and it was a weird hodgepodge. It didn't seem to coalesce around anything coherent.
Yeah, and I felt that way, and I still kind of feel that way with that one. But we're back from a break from work, and then a couple of coworkers, were posting about it in our Slack and our off-topic games, and some of them just absolutely love it.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, nah, not for me. I think it's the weakest since Genshin. MiHoYo's had other games before Genshin. It's a mixed success. They had the first, Honkai Third Impact, and a few other mobile free-to-play stuff. Genshin was their big breakout, especially in the West and just worldwide. And then they did Honkai, and now they've done Zenless Zone Zero. Those are like their three. The thing that gets me with it is how similar the games are. Like their meta games are almost exactly the same. Like
In terms of just rolling for characters, or
how you roll for characters, how you upgrade characters, what you equip to characters. Like they're themed differently, but it's the same slots. It's
so
the same things. Like
got it.
They retheme it, but I'm like, oh, I was playing Zenless Zone Zero, and I'm like, okay, I know how this entire metagame works because this is how Honkai Star Rail worked. Like, you've called it a W engine here. Cool. All right, that's just planar spheres roughly from Honkai, and then you have discs that go in the drives, and those are just your different head, gloves, feet stuff from Honkai. Like in Genshin had the same thing. I'm like, I get it. It's the same metagame, same progression. Like, it's kind of shocking how little they've changed it, other than making it like quality of life improvements. They haven't drastically changed the actual like meta and progression systems from those games. Like, clearly they're like, we don't need to change them, so why do that? And then Zenless Zone Zero, as you pointed, disjointed is the way of like, I was kind of surprised when you got to that television minigame thing. It's like, oh, this is the exploration, and it is. That is not just a minigame. That is like a main part of the game. You do little explorations, and then you get little combat scenes.
Right.
And then you go back to little television exploration and combat. And so it's like small-scale combat. I eventually got to a point where there's longer combat explorations, like where you just drop into a map and you're running around and you do a bunch of combats in a map, really over like 10 minutes. And that's cool, but that's the outlier from the base, what the core loop of the game is. But I assume it's making a lot of money, like the other ones, though. The gotcha roll for characters, getting random characters, that's a big draw.
Well, and that's the part that I like the combat and I like the variety of characters. I didn't really play Honkai Star Rail or, Genshin or whatever, but I like there's a lot of different kinds of characters that do somewhat different things, even though I feel like you're just doing, in the end, I felt like I was doing this mainly the same thing, where I would just be switching characters and just dancing around the bosses or whatever, and just fucking doing a beatdown. So. Yep.
Yeah. I give it that. It has great characters, a neat design. The combat is fast. I don't think it's in any way revolutionary. And even, I'm like, it doesn't have staying power because I'm already kind of bored with the combat. I'm like, yep, I get it. I get what to do. Hit the button at the right time, select the character you want to come in, try to chain things together. It's fun, it's flashy, and they did a great job there, and it feels good when you're doing it, but there's not a lot of depth to it, as far as I can tell. At least at the moment when I'm playing. Like, speaking to the other thing, like, the time it takes for it to get kind of even more interesting, even a little bit, takes a long time. And that's been my problem with a lot of Genshin. Not Genshin. MiHoYo games in general. They take a while to get going. And they talk a lot. I really feel like they could reduce their scripts by about 50%. It would be okay.
Oh my god, I never skip dialogue. I love story in games. And as fast as fucking possible, I was just like, skip. I was like, what is happening to me? I've never done that. And this is like...
they just taught their translations, their English translations. And I don't know what it is in Chinese or Japanese, their other translations. But my god, I felt the same way with Genshin and Star Rail, of being like, stop talking. I don't need this much text to tell me what's going on in the story. You told me it in the first couple sentences. Now, why are the characters still talking? It's always been my major complaint with them. I mean, and as far as I can tell, First Descendant just kind of cuts through all of that, and they're just like, nope, you just shoot things, go.
This gameplay video, it gets right to the meat of it. Like, you're here for this. Here's the thing you're here for. Like, I would still have ZZZ installed if it was I load it up and I do combat and I'm rolling for characters. And maybe that's what Genshin offers. Maybe that's what Honkai offers. But good fucking lord, 2 nights and I was like, yep, I see what this is, and this is not for me. So
yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I know we talked about these two coming out, and I mean, I don't. How does the free to play actually feel to you in the end? Like, it's nice in the moment. I know for sure. Like, I'm playing a game. It's high quality. It's high production value. Like Zenless Zone Zero and First Descendant definitely are like very high production values.
Yeah.
And it feels good to play. You're like, oh, I'm playing this for free, and it feels good. But when you stop,
yeah, go ahead.
When you stop, how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not maybe the right person to answer that question because I don't play them very long. I don't know if I can think of a free to play game that I played for very long. Then Overwatch I played with a shit ton of, but I bought that one. Counter-Strike, I believe I bought that one. Team Fortress 2, I also believe I bought. I play a little bit of Fortnite. I play a little bit of stuff. I play a little bit. I don't play enough where like it really. Even Rocket League. Like I play a shit ton of Rocket League, but I paid for Rocket League.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's free now, but you paid for it.
It's free now. Yeah, I paid for it. So the ones that are like you would think of as free to play now, like I have played several of those. Because my answer was going to be I haven't played enough to like get to the ickiness. And I kind of like that some of these games are free to play just so I can like dip in and check it out and be like, nope. So I'm a little bit informed on what's in the zeitgeist, but I'm not drawn. I'm not drawn to it. I'm not drawn, I'm drawn to story more than anything. And none of these free to play games really have that kind of story,
Yeah. I will say I enjoyed Honkai Star Rail's story quite a bit.
Okay.
It got interesting again, but it's too verbose. I don't think you would stick with it because it's just like, God, stop talking.
God, seriously.
It's really interesting and really neat. It just takes so much time to get through it for I'm like, stop, come on.
And did you get all the way through? Did you get all the way through that game?
Well, I did to when I played it, which
okay.
They've added, because that's the thing, it doesn't stop.
Yeah,
that's the other thing with these games. They don't stop ever. If they stop, then the game is dead. They have to keep offering new things. And I mean, Honkai Star Rail I'm probably a year out of content updates from that game. I probably, if I went back, would have a good 50, 60 hours of story to play through.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but I'd also have to go back and be like, what was I doing? They're hard games. I would say the general model of free-to-play is hard. If you drop out, it's hard to get back.
Right, because you're left behind, right? By the meta or whatever else.
Yep. Yeah. And you see this, so the first Descendant, I guarantee, will do a thing now. It'll be fine. It will have its big spike, and then you'll see it start weaning players, just as the thing naturally does, and it'll get whatever its tail is going to be. And in probably a year, they'll do a anniversary event to try to draw back a huge number of players. They'll give them a bunch of free stuff to pull people back in. It's always going to be just a bunch of free stuff. I don't know the specific way that you unlock Descendants, but it's going to be whatever you do to unlock Descendants. They're going to do a thing like come back, play for a week. We're going to give you a Descendant for doing
sure. Yeah.
It's a really cool thing. I can't think of a free-to-play game that hasn't done big anniversary events, and if they don't... Genshin really screwed up one year. Its second anniversary, the community kind of got up in arms on how crappy their second anniversary event was.
Because...
they just didn't give anything out. They're like, here's like 10 gotcha rolls. They're like, that's it? Right. What the hell is this? Yeah. Because their first year one, which was when I played Genshin, was on year one. They gave you so much for playing in the first anniversary. Just so much. Current in-game currency and characters and rolls on characters. And they made it worth your while. But again, I stopped playing Genshin similarly because it just kept moving on, and I just kind of... if one of these games isn't your hobby, then there's almost no reason to play it.
And that's the part of the thing is it's mainly an economy of time, and I personally am not the kind of person that has that time for that. I have like an hour and a half or 2 hours at night, and there's too many games I have that I want to play that I don't want a hobby inside of my hobby. My hobby is gaming. I don't want a hobby inside of that.
Yeah. Do you want to, for the hour and a half, do you want to give up a half an hour to 45 minutes of that time to one game consistently every day.
Yeah, right. No, I don't. And I used to. Like, I certainly played Team Fortress 2 like that. But again, I paid for that. So,
Yeah.
but it was that felt like a hobby, you know. But I'm not. I never played MMOs. I never did that.
WoW was my hobby for a long time.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think I'm the right person there. I'm also not the right person when it comes to like the monetization. Like, I like the rolling. I understand the like endorphin hit of
totally.
Getting cool characters and the shinies. It's like opening a pack of magic cards, getting a cool rare card. Like, it's great. I love it. But I am not prone to get addicted to that.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to go spend $100 on Zenless Zone Zero to get another 100 pulls of gacha. I don't care enough.
Right.
But that's not true for everybody.
No, it is not.
It's well known. I mean, a lot of these games are funded by whales, is the term in the market, and that's like the top 5% of people that spend money in the game, and they spend thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands. And these games, at best, you can say that they are willing to have systems in there that let people spend as much as they want. In other ways, you can say that they prey upon that. So, it depends on your perspective in the game, kind of. But
yeah, I'm interested from a developer standpoint.
Mechanics and systems that allow people to spend as much money as they want. That is a thing that exists and is in there. There is no upper cap on how much you can spend in any successful free-to-play game.
No, of course not, because you want to give your player options. Like, no, you just want enough money. You want money. You want the people who are cashing out their parents' credit card or what the fuck ever.
Yep. You want the people that are like, I have thousands of dollars to spend indiscriminately. I'm just going to throw it at this. If they could realistically actually do that or not and not devastate their life, you don't care. You don't care.
Exactly.
Like that. You're not and you being there and have gone through some of this when working on some free to play stuff and coming on the other side of being like, yeah, we're not going to go insane on this. But having the real conversations with people being like, going, well, that's their choice to make if they want to spend that money and wreck their lives. We're not here to protect them.
Yep. They're adults.
It's that is a real thing. Like, and they might be, and that's fine.
Some might be, yeah.
And you have to feel how do you feel about letting that happen? Yep. And personally, I didn't feel great about it. So I was happy to work on the stuff that I did that wasn't crazy. Yeah. But I do remember a point in time when I'm like, this is the metagame I want for this game. And just straight up being told, you can't do it. It has people can't spend enough money in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's dumb. Like,
but they can spend a lot. No, we need to have them spend a lot more.
They can spend this much. That seems like a reasonable amount for most people. And like, yeah, but what if someone wants to spend like 10,000? It's like, well, then they should just buy all the stuff that we give them, and then they can just take the money and do something else with it. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
That's why I'm not great at free to play. I'll be honest.
As a developer, on the developer side, you mean?
I have ethics, I guess.
Yeah.
Morals.
Well, also
ethics.
just like
is that morals or ethics? I don't remember.
Both. Also, just a history as a gamer. You're like, I don't like that shit. You know, like, I'm also annoyed by that crap. Again, like Helldivers is not free to play, but they have a battle pass. That's not even a battle pass, but you spend currency that you can buy with real money or you earn in game. And it feels like the right kind of treadmill. Like, if you really like the game, there are ways to support the devs. Like Rocket League too. Like, I would buy the Rocket Pass sometimes just because I fucking love that game. I know I bought it originally, but I don't know. It's a fantastic ongoing game. So I get that there is I don't know, like good ways to spend money in a free to play game, and there are lots and lots of bad ways.
Yeah. And generally, like, it is be it a battle pass or something like that, like ongoing, call them live service or just consistently updated games, the devs need to make money somehow. Like,
yep.
And that's how, like, they can choose to do it. They can do like, okay, we're asking $10 every month. or every few months to help do ongoing development of this game. Or you can go the way, this is a weird one, or the way so No Man's Sky doesn't have any kind of battle pass or cosmetics or anything, but the game has never dropped below $30. They require, the base game is always between $60 and $30.
Yep.
That's what it does, and they never drop it.
It's almost a Nintendo model where Nintendo has, we drop it down to $41.99. That is it.
Yep.
We know what our games are worth.
Yeah, and it's a thing, hey, if we can keep our sales at a certain level at most 50% off, $30 for the game, then we can continue to update this ongoing. And they have. And that is another model of doing it. In some ways, it's probably easier to manage people's expectations in some ways. The key difference there is battle passes are meant to be an ongoing revenue stream, but also to keep, almost more importantly, players in the game.
Oh yeah, it's about engagement. You want them to continue to turn on your game.
And No Man's Sky doesn't matter if there's other people playing the game. If you're just playing it solo, whatever. Yeah. But Rocket League, Helldivers is a really bad game if it doesn't have a strong community around it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't exist, right? You're playing bots, I guess, Helldivers, you need to roll with randos or your friends, but then Rocket League, you need a team to play against. There's no PvP in Helldivers, but I need 3 people to play against in Rocket League, or 4 or whatever.
Yeah. So
mode I choose.
So, I mean, that's kind of why battle passes are the way to go there. Fortnite and everything uses them as well. Fortnite was one of the
one of the first
original, original creators of that. I could be wrong. There could be stuff before it, but Fortnite was the big one that everyone kind of knew. And it really just was. It's we need engagement. We need to keep a mass of players playing this game consistently. And how do we do that? Well, they put money in to get things. And if they don't play, they don't get the things. So, a percentage of those players are going to continue to play to get all the things. In Indian, it is... Is that a dark pattern? That's kind of creating that sense of it's weaponizing FOMO in a lot of ways.
Well, that's the thing that our friend Travis just drove him nuts about. I think Destiny specifically, where there was the battle pass and you had to do it all or you lost it all or what the fuck ever. Yep. So you had that FOMO, and it's just you can never get off the treadmill if you are a completionist, which he is. That's it. It does feel dark,
It preys on the completionists.
Absolutely. Yep.
If you are a completionist, I would recommend never playing games like this. Stay away.
Because to get it all,
because you can never complete it. That's the lie you're being told is you can complete. It's no, you can't.
Yeah.
It will never be complete.
Right.
There will always be new things coming out unless you're willing to commit that you're going to play this game consistently until it stops existing and they stop putting stuff out, then you don't get to stop if you're trying to get everything. And that's terrifying to me, actually.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I hope the first Descendant is aggressive in its monetization, I'll be honest.
That's been the feedback for sure. And there's certain things that you use and they're gone. You get a paint for your item to change its color or what the fuck ever, and then it's gone for good. You have to buy it again and all this weird. It's just a bunch of. Travis keeps saying it's just Nexon. That's what Nexon does, and that's fine, I guess. But that's still gross. It doesn't matter if it's something they always do. Yeah,
they do it, and the problem is that these games haven't been ever punished by players. You get negative reviews, but it's still the number 1 revenue game on Steam.
Right. They're writing negative review and still fucking playing the shit out of it. Buying stuff.
So. Yeah, that's the problem is and I would, for anyone that I see online making the argument you just got to not spend money on this stuff. I'm that ship has sailed a long time ago. The key way to actually make any kind of change on the games industry actually now is probably just not to play the game at all.
Yeah. Right.
It's not play it and not spend money. It's just not play it. It probably means more to to a company having less players than revenue overall in the end.
And thinking really quickly about free to play on Steam specifically, Can you refund microtransactions that you buy?
No.
Interesting, because then you get around that 2-hour refund window. Like, we didn't sell you the game; we sold you shit inside the game.
Yep.
2 hours later, an hour later, you don't like the thing you bought. Sorry, you don't get that refund. That's an interesting wrinkle for Steam.
Yep. Nope. But Steam does get a 30% cut of every microtransaction that happens on Steam.
That's fucking insane. So much money they're making.
Yeah.
But that's one way to get away. I know some devs, at least, and you can speak to this more than I can, obviously. You're dealing with making sure people are invested in your game for at least 2 hours, so they get past that refund window or whatever. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it is on Steam now. At PopCap, we always would do our games used to, when it was all PC stuff, was 1 hour trials.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make the game be good. At minimum, was a great first hour that you wanted to keep playing after that first hour.
Right. Yep.
So it's not new to me to do that. I think the thing of hooking a person for 2 hours, I'm like, no, you need to hook them in the first 30 seconds, minute of the game overall.
That's the wild thing.
If you've been good, then they're going to stick around for those hours.
Sure.
That's not a problem.
That's the wild thing about Zenless Zone Zero to me is, at least, I don't feel like that happened.
Nope.
And maybe it's just people know our games. They will stick through this opening fucking, it's not a monologue or whatever, but think about a fucking doorstopper fantasy novel that starts with a prologue. You're like, God damn it, get to the story, because this prologue is so far removed. Even a Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, starts with the White Walkers prologue, which is well written and interesting, but you're not with the characters. You're with something that's going to be relevant, much later. And now that I think about it, Game of Thrones is a bad example because the person in that prologue gets fucking killed in the first chapter. So, but in general, bad fantasy does that, where they have a prologue that relates to nothing. And then you're like, well, I'm not going to be around in 800 pages for that to make sense. You've already lost me. You need to make a good first argument. And I say that as a person, and you've read it, who's written a terrible fucking fantasy novel, who's done that very same thing. So I get it. It's hard not to do that.
Yeah. And I say that with a level of oh, that's easy to do. Actually, and I don't mean it that way. It's very hard to make something hook right from the start.
Oh, it's incredibly hard, because all the skills that go into that, but also as an artist looking at the thing and saying, I need to cut 60% of the beginning here to make it get there. I can't do that because it's all good. It's not all good. You got to be fucking ruthless.
Let's say The Witcher 3 for me.
Yes.
Holy crap. I just needed that game to just be a little bit more upfront.
I agree, and I'm starting Witcher 2 for the RPG Backlog podcast, and it's night and day. It is wow, this is right into it. I'm really hooked. The story is better than 3 at the beginning, by orders of magnitude.
Yeah. I think 3's story gets way better. Way neater story. It's just a slow start. A real slow start. God damn it, White Orchard. Why?
Yes, exactly.
Why you make me sit here in a big tutorial zone? And I get it. For that, it is a hard thing to do. It is hard to hook people quickly and to do it well. Because I think you even spoke to Witcher 2 that it throws you right in, and you died a lot because it doesn't take its time to teach you anything. It's just guess what? Figure it out. So it's a hard balance, I would say, to figure out that line of okay, we're teaching you things so that you understand games, especially mechanically, what to do, but also hook you from I want to see what's happening next. I want the next thing. It's hard. It's never easy, and you do have to spend a lot of time doing that. And I think MiHoYo with their games they generally take a while to ramp up. I'd say they are too slow in general. A lot of people still get through it, but it's slow. Right. First Descendant, I'm should I play the first Descendant a little? I don't know.
To get be conversant in it? Or because it sounds dope to you?
Conversant. It's Unreal 5. It looks pretty.
It does. It looks really good.
And just to kind of see what their monetization is. Again, a number of coworkers that have been playing it over the past week, and
Yeah.
they're chatting about it, and I'm like, it's just one of those things. Being a game designer, like, even if I'm not going to play it crazily, it's always nice to have some knowledge of what it's doing, what I like, what I dislike about it.
Well, I don't have the career aspect of it, but just from the podcast itself, like I will probably check it out. Only partially for the podcast, so I can be conversant in it, but just to understand what the fuck Travis is talking about, because he's talking about that game quite a bit, and I was like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we've had 2, as far as I can tell, really big free-to-play launches this past week. I had this general feeling that a lot of stuff is going more traditional, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's still going to be these big free-to-play stuff that hit every once in a while. I just think there has to be a limit to just player hours and the number of these free-to-play games that require time investment that just exist.
Yeah.
And how that's fracturing out now is kind of crazy. Again, going back to Steam, most played, Counter-Strike 2 free to play, Dota 2 free to play. Those are the top right now most played games. Counter-Strike 2 has 1.2 million players peak today.
Yeah,
concurrent. It's currently 708,000 people are playing Counter-Strike 2.
I mean, that game has hooked people forever.
Dota 2 usually has over 500,000 people peaking per day, closer to 700,000 every day. PUBG is still up here as a free-to-play. Descendant, First Descendant, Team Fortress 2. Naraka Blade Point has almost 300,000 today. Apex Legends, 250,000 on Steam. So, in the top 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are free-to-play.
It makes sense for Steam. Can't refund that shit.
You can't refund, but I'm just God, there's just so many people playing these games.
Right. That may also be a symptom. I mean, maybe it's not, but also a symptom of the economy where it's rough to keep up and buy new games all the time. They're expensive as fuck. People are making less money. The inflation sucks, Maybe that's part of it. But they're spending money on the microtransactions, so take it all back.
Yeah, take it all back. Well, actually, most people aren't spending money on the microtransactions.
Okay, maybe just the whales are. Yeah.
Not even wet. That's the thing is the top spenders. A good conversion in a free-to-play game is 5% of your players actually spend money.
Oh wow, that's far lower than I would have expected.
Yeah, it's real low.
Okay.
That's probably been optimized. I'll be saying let's graciously say 10% maybe spend $1 or $2. At most. I was just looking. That banana game that exists?
Yes.
There's a game called Cats, and it's just clicking cats. You get random cat
Genius.
Steam items.
Genius. Is it just called Cats? What's it called?
It's called Cats, and it's got 30.
Oh, and it says free. Cats free?
Yeah, Cats.
Oh my god!
33,000 people playing that right now.
There's a cat stegosaurus.
Yes, just clicking it to get cats.
Oh my! It reminds me of there was a fucking game I played on the PlayStation to get a platinum that was My Name is Mayo, and you just click on the fucking mayonnaise jar.
Yep.
It was very dumb. Oh, I want to see this. Okay. You're clicking the cat. It turns into the different cat. It's fucking exactly the same thing. Oh my god, is this the same people that do Tower Full of Cats? Because that art looks the same. No? Okay.
No, this is a different... There's a competing company that does similar ones that's... they do a lot of ones, though, of find the cats in different drawings.
Yeah, I love those, man. Those are so cool. But this cats thing, you just fucking click on anything and it turns to a new cat and a new cat.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And why is it tagged as psychological horror?
Because you're clicking things. That's why. Because I think banana was also tagged with psychological horror.
It was.
I think it's just a joke Steam thing.
I thought it was a real thing. Okay, so then you can shop available items in the game What the
Yep.
fuck do you do with those things?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm not going down this rabbit hole.
Nope. But there's more free to play. Free to play is everywhere. I don't know. I'm going to be very curious how. For like the first Descendant to be successful and stay successful, what other free to play games aren't successful now? Like, where is it pulling its players from? It's because they're coming from somewhere.
Yep.
Could be Destiny. Destiny's going away.
Well, and people liked the final, for the most part, the last one that we just got.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a finite amount of gamers, so you're not going to be you're not inventing new gamers to play this game.
Yeah. And then I've been waiting, like, so the Warframe people, they have their TinnoCons. It starts later this month, July 20th, because I was looking up. They have another game coming out called Soulframe.
Oh.
They teased that a couple years ago. And I'm very curious about it. It's like it is a kind of melee-focused exploration game. Kind of Souls-like in some way. They call it Soulframe. It has looked very neat. I'm like, oh, we're going to hear more about that. Probably in a couple weeks. So, and it will be free to play as well.
Right. Well, it makes money, as you've been pointing out the entire podcast, so it's going to keep happening. And, I think the only issue, I mean, it's whatever, lots of issues, but like those mechanics seeping into premium games.
Yep.
It makes
and they have.
They absolutely have. And that certainly turns people sour. So again, coming back to Helldivers, it feels like pretty well done there for me, at least, because you don't have to grind. You kind of just get that currency as you play. Like, I don't really need to put in my own money to get it.
Yeah.
But I would for sometimes, just because I enjoy supporting them, or I kind of like what's in the past or whatever. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's where I would still hold that, like, if there's a premium game that is doing this stuff that you're like, oh, that's scummy, I don't want to do it, but I'm not going to spend money on the cosmetics, you're better off not playing the game at all to send a message.
Right.
If you just still buy the game, it won't matter. If you buy the game and then they change something and you don't like what they've done, your best recourse is to stop playing. That hurts. Spending money isn't the biggest thing that hurts these people, I want to reiterate. It is for games that are trying to be live service and ongoing, the thing that hurts them the most is just less people playing.
Right, because their top metric is player engagement, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that may suck because you're like, well, I love this game. I really love playing it. I don't like what they do monetarily or how they're doing X, Y, and Z. But if you keep playing it, then yeah, nothing. There is no way to change that. You're just going to keep doing it. And so maybe one person is enough. Mm-hmm. There's something to say there, but
right. Well, but if the same thing with recycling, right? Like if one person, no, but everyone recycling, that's a good thing. And this is going to be bad, but I'm going to say it anyways. You don't want us to hit them in the pocketbook. You want us to hit them in the pocket watch because they can't count our time.
There you go. Nice.
Told you to be bad.
And with that, boom. What are you playing?
Nice transition. Elden Ring. Holy shit, man. Elden Ring is like an obsession. I can't stop. I went around and got a bunch of the Shadow Tree fragments to level up to, I think I'm level 7 or 8 right now. And I went and found this really, the Great Steel, Black Steel Great Shield, which is off of a boss in this fort that you can't get to unless you drop off a cliff and find this certain pathway to get down into it. Which I found myself. I didn't follow a guide. I was really happy. It's like, where the fuck does this go? And I was like, oh my God, I'm where I'm supposed to be. This is perfect, because I had set out to go find that night. And then it was like a mini boss there, and got the shield and leveled up to level 24 and went to put my holy on it. And I was like, I don't have a holy ash to put on my shield. What the fuck? That was the whole point of me doing this. So then I was like, okay, what do I do? Oh, I need a wet knife to apply sacred so I can get holy on it. Oh, I ashed the capital, so I can't get that wet knife anymore. What do I do? Okay, well, there's this holy ground ash of war. and I looked it online and like, oh, it comes off the tree sentinel or whatever the guy is at the very beginning in Limgrave between you and the church.
Sure.
And I killed him. I don't have that. And I looked again, and that person was wrong. No, it's in a fucking hero's grave in north of the capital, basically. Where you have to go in. I went through and defeated the boss and didn't find it. Then I found a guide and it was like you have to go through, and you know the pillars, the things that shoot fire that you hit the pillar so it like goes up.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you have to hit that so it goes up and shoots light through another tunnel, and then go up so that tunnel hits a chariot and it kills the chariot. And when the chariot dies, you get the Tree Sentinel armor set plus the Ash of War. So I spent a lot of time doing that, and then put it all on. And I was like, cool. Oh yeah, I'm doing this just for the final boss, and I'm way far away from the final boss. So let me just keep exploring the DLC. I just went back to where I had been having trouble before, and instead of fighting everything on the planet, I just ran past everything to see what there was, and I ended up running all the way to the Dancing Lion boss. I was like, fuck, all right, guess I'm fighting the lion. I'm fighting this boss. So I switched back to my Uchigatana and my Rivers of Blood, my mainstay. I didn't use my new shield. Actually, no, I did use it, and I got my ass handed to me. Like, I did 5 solo runs, 2 with my Uchi and Rivers of Blood, and 2 with my new shield and my great sword. And boy, I looked moronic trying to block shit with my shield. It was terrible. And then I tried one more solo, and I was getting probably down to half health. And I was like, okay, this is good. I'm going to call my Mimic in now, so I kind of get through the rhythm of like having him distracted, so I can kind of eat away at his health. And it worked perfectly because I just decimated that boss. Just enough, my Mimic to pull aggro slightly off of me so I could heal and get ready and use my my mana flask again. But boy, the DLC bosses in Shadow of the Erdtree, it doesn't matter if you have your Mimic in there to pull aggro. They fucking ignore them. They just come right at me 70% of the time, as opposed to the base game where I feel like it was only like 20% of the time they cared about me because my Mimic was going in there. So it makes it hard, which is great. It's kind of nice to not trivialize it with my Mimic. And then I took him down and got his it's not a lion. It's like these dudes in a suit. So then you get the lion head at the end. So now I'm walking around with the lion head.
Nice.
But man, I'm getting so much better. I don't know what clicked. I know what clicked. The initial in the DLC where you go to the Black Jail Knight, where you can't summon. You could bring in cooperators, but you can't summon. And I just fucking grounded out for 2 nights and beat his ass, and really learned. Oh, it really is about patience. It's about reading the moves, and it's patience. Like, just roll out of the way and be thoughtful. Take 2 swipes and then get the fuck out of there and wait for another minute, and then come and get 2 swipes. Like, it's gonna take a while. And I've just gotten better to the point where I'm like, oh god, I think I like Souls games. What the fuck?
Again, you gotta go back. You gotta try another one. See if you.
I do. Yes, that's right. So what I'm going.
I like the bossing of Souls games. I don't know if you'll like the.
That's a good point.
Design of Souls games.
That's a good point. I do like the bossing. But I have another Crab's Treasure, which is like a Souls game, but like Souls Light or whatever. It looks kind of fun. Like, I'm not going to throw myself into fucking Bloodborne. I want to try this genre more, but maybe not the hardest of the hard. I've got Sekiro, but I think Sekiro is going to destroy me, so I'm going to wait on that.
Yeah. I think people say that Sekiro is like the hardest FromSoft game.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Aggro Crab. They are a block away from Systemair in Fremont in Seattle. So
Aggro Crab fucking rocks, because I watched Little Crab's Treasure speedrun at Summer Games Done Quick. Nice. And they led off with a $5,000 donation.
Nice.
And it was really cool. And that game just sold me on the game. I had bought it for Steam on this Steam sale, so I haven't loaded it up yet. But yeah, it looks good. So that's where I'm going. And honestly, that's other than ZZZ, which I already talked about, and Kena with my daughter, and Paper Mario with my daughter, that's about it. That's all I've been playing.
Yeah. For me, definitely ZZZ, a lot more than you. I'm at, I got to level 30.
Oh, wow.
That's all the free stuff they give you. If you get to 30, you've gotten all the free stuff at the launch. Mm-hmm. So I just made my way through that, saw what the metagame progression was, kind of analyzed it, and was like, oh, it's the same as the previous games. Cool. Combat's getting a little old at this point. Got some cool characters. I'm pretty happy about that. I've got so many roles saved up, and I'm like, well, I don't care about the shark maid thing that's going on right now. Until the character designs are just wild. But the next character on the 24th, I'll probably just dump all of my currency into that I've saved and see about getting that one. If I play, I'm not really that interested in playing all that much anymore. Like, I see what the game offers. This is kind of it.
Right.
And I just don't know if I feel like doing that grind. Beyond that, playing Final Fantasy Adventure more. Got through that next big chunk for the RPG backlog, which will come out in a few months, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I was looking the middle of August. We're dealing with some
month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's been pretty entertaining overall. I'll be very curious when we talk about that once everyone gets through this next chunk.
This one I haven't started yet because of Elden Ring. And we might be delayed a little bit because of health stuff, so we'll see when we record this podcast.
Yeah, it's fine. And traveling, the whole thing.
Exactly.
That makes sense. I did, through this whole thing, the summer sale starting, I did play the demo for Kinutsu Gami.
Oh, nice. The tower defense Capcom game.
It is a weird ass game. Like, art wise and everything. It is so deeply Japanese. So crazy Shinto inspired.
That's interesting.
Japanese. The art, I'm sure some people are like, this art is kind of unnerving, and it kind of is. It has very, very strange character designs and enemy designs, but very pulling from like Shintoism and ancient Japanese myth and legends. And but yeah, I was not prepared for how, like, the tower defense aspect of it. It's real neat. I really like it.
Good.
Comes out July 18th. I'm probably gonna just pick it up. I think it will be a lot of fun to just play on my PC and Steam Deck. It's verified for Steam Deck. It's only getting a digital release on.
Oh, there's no physical for console?
No physical. No physical. Okay. So it's just digital. I could see myself spending a good chunk of time with this one. It gets pretty challenging. There's a lot of kind of like press your luck to the tower defense aspect of it, because the main premise of every level is you have your priestess that you're guiding to purify the gate, and you tell her how far you want her to move. You have to invest currency that you also spend to upgrade your
level
units
up your
character. But you have to spend it to make her move through the level, but she moves at a certain pace, and time's ticking down till the next wave. So you kind of have to press your luck on how far you want to move her forward before like night falls, and you have to go through an enemy wave. And the few levels they did for the demo definitely started showing the variations that they have to this gameplay, and I'm maybe pretty excited overall. It's neat. It's a neat, weird ass game. It's so long since I've seen a game that's just like, yep, I look and play like nothing else.
I've heard a lot of the previews were basically like, thank God Capcom is spending some resources to do something fucking weird and out there. I am so curious for two reasons. Well, how this is going to review. One, I'm just curious how, with all those very wild differences, how different outlets are going to take that. And also, two, you have it on Fantasy Critic, and I counterpicked it.
I don't think it's going to be a 90 game, but I think it would probably be. It's going to be a.
I can see it hitting in the mid 80s.
I could theoretically see that.
That would fuck me, but that's fine.
It's neat. It was a neat game though. I was pretty impressed overall. Because I probably put. Yeah, hours did I put into the demo? Like 3 hours.
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot of content in the demo, and then for people playing the demo, they're doing a special like community event where they're tracking stats of the currency that players gain during the game, and if you collect enough and kill enough enemies, they're going to give at launch some Okami skins to the game.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, it's just pretty cool.
Okay, that is cool.
An Okami collab.
Yeah, very cool.
again, another Capcom game that haven't really got a sequel. Very deep Japanese inspired game. That was kind of weird at the time. They're like, it's kind of a Zelda game.
Yeah.
But you're playing a wolf. I guess you played a wolf eventually in Zelda.
Twilight Princess, yeah, but it's a fucking Zelda game. And I think this week Kamiya, who was like, yeah, that fucking game tanked us. Like, it didn't sell very well. But it's like just so well regarded.
Yeah, now it is. I think in the day
now it is. Yes,
it definitely has become much more loved over time.
I feel like Wind Waker's the same way.
Yeah, Wind Waker turned around real quickly when people saw it in motion. Mm-hmm. People hated the screenshots of Wind Waker when they were seeing it in like Nintendo Powers and stuff, and then it came out. It very rapidly changed of like, oh, this in motion is incredible. Sorry, Nintendo. I know we wanted adult Link and like a mature Link.
Yep.
But this game is good. Sorry. And we got Tingle.
Right. Tingle's great.
Oh no, it's not.
Tingle's great. You get to play as Tingle. I think it's in Hyrule Warriors. You get to play as Tingle. It's fucking weird.
No.
Fucking weird.
Yeah.
Tingle is fucking bizarre, but so is Beetle. So whatever.
Yeah. So that's all I've been. That's mostly what I've been playing. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. And Suika. We continue to play Suika. My wife,
of course,
that's so Suika. And it's just so good for my mental health to play puzzle games. So it's lovely. But yeah, that's another episode of Prof and Dev Play Games. If you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. And we will be back next week to, I don't know, Gamecom is coming up at some point. So we'll talk about something next week, surely.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thanks so much for being here. And we will see you next week.
Later, everyone.